Welcome back to one more episode of Link's Awakening DX. Last time we cleared Dungeon 8, Turtle Rock, got all the instruments, we got almost everything there is to get in the game, and now it's time to go to the Windfish's Egg, but there's one last thing we gotta do. I believe we looked at this book a long time ago, Dark Secrets and Mysteries of Koholint, and it said before the text was too small to read, and, well, we have the magnifying lens now. We could have done this much earlier, as soon as we got the magnifying lens, but now that we have it, round and round the passageways of the egg. Left up, right up, left up, right up. This book reeks of secrets. So this is, like, technically not mandatory. You're intended to read this book with the magnifying lens, so you do have to do the whole trade quest, kind of. In case you couldn't figure it out, that sequence of arrows was actually the passage we need to take through the Windfish Egg dungeon to get to the end. Otherwise, it will just repeat infinitely, kind of like the Lost Woods. And you're supposed to read the book after you get the magnifying lens to know what way to go. And the way you're supposed to go is randomized every time, but there are only like 3 different like pre-generated paths it makes you take, I think. And we'll just choose one at random for your save. Meaning, if you have the internet, you can just look it up and just try all 3 methods until one of them works. So yeah, I think there's not much to do this episode. We didn't get everything. I said before, we missed out on one of the, photos permanently. So, that's one we can't get. Another one is very infamous. It requires you to steal from the shop. And, everybody knows about stealing from the shop from this game. If you steal from the shop, your save file name is permanently changed to Thief, or at least characters will refer to you as Thief. And, also if you re-enter the shop, then you will just get killed by the shopkeep. And I'm just gonna be real, we're not doing that. Everybody knows about it. I don't feel like, tainting my save, especially since we can't get all the photos anyway. So we're just not gonna. And I'm gonna be brutally honest, I do not remember what the fuck the last, I do not remember what that last photo that we missed actually is, because I don't think we missed out on any other ones. And we can't get all the photos anyway, and there's no reward for getting them all, so I'm just gonna be completely real. We're just gonna skip that. Sorry to the people being disappointed by that, but no. We're not getting all the photos. This isn't a true 100% run. We didn't beat the game. No, but really, who really cares? Anyway, I guess one more thing we can show while we're over here is... We showed a few episodes ago you can use the boomerang to kill the planets here, but in case you couldn't guess, well, the magic rod does that too. Great. Although at this point, if you had no reason to go back to Dungeon 2 when you had the boomerang, you absolutely have no reason to go back there at this point, considering this is literally the very end of the game. We have a medicine as well, so we're going to be totally fine in the final boss. The final boss is quite long and has several phases, but it's not hard. I considered going back to the color dungeon and showing off the blue tunic for this, but no, we don't need to, I don't think. I do like how the blue tunic looks better, though. Anyway, piss off, owl. Let's pull out our ocarina and play the Windfish's Ballad one last time, and actually put it in our inventory so we can play it. That would help. This whole sequence is really nice, by the way. I love this. Not sure how Moth Space managed to play all those instruments all by himself, but it was pretty fucking fire, so it's alright. Windfish's Egg. Pretty creepy place. And, well, we don't actually need most of our items anymore. Let's just get a move on. I'm sure there's some kind of precise jump or glitch you can do to get to the other side there, but I have no idea where it actually leads. Anyway, our path is left, up, right, up, left, up, right, And up one more time. That was the most convoluted straight line we've ever walked in, but... Anyway, it's time for the final boss. Let's steel ourselves and just literally jump right into this shit. Crazy looking floor, by the way. Let's rumble. Oh, shit. Every phase of this fight has different attacks and patterns and things that they're susceptible to, so you gotta change items in your inventory a lot. I said last time we're gonna need the powder one more time. It's for this. He has this weird, like, jumping slime phase, and you need to sprinkle powder on him. I think you only even need to do it once. Nope, you gotta do it a few times. I feel like this is kind of just like a check to see you have powder in your inventory right now, as if you haven't had it the entire game. I honestly don't get it, but whatever. Anyway, despite being so strong, the magic rod and boomerang, ironically, are not actually very useful here. See, this fight, I believe this is like Aghanim from Link to the Past. I only played like half of Link to the Past, I think. Well, this phase is pretty simple. He will throw fireballs at you, you swing your sword and knock them back, and there's a chance that he will shoot an unreflectable fireball. So if you're unlucky, it is just a 50-50. If you're unlucky, he can just throw a bunch of unreflectable cross-shaped fireballs at you over and over again, and this phase can just take fucking forever and just be really annoying. Yeah, kind of like that. And otherwise, he will just teleport all over the room and try to hit you. So we're just going to be stuck doing this little dance for a while until he decides to throw us a good fireball. I believe if you're not centered with him well enough, you can accidentally knock the fireball to the side and it will miss. Or if you're too far away, he'll teleport again before the fireball can actually reach him. So, a bit annoying, you just gotta be slightly mindful. It's not hard. There he goes. Another phase down. Time for phase 3, and it's... Yeah, the fucking worm from the beginning of the game. The very first boss, except now it's the final boss. And at this point, I said this worm boss is the one you're most likely to game over at the beginning of the game, but here he's just a complete joke. Right now, it's Ganon. Holy shit. He's gotta dodge these bats, I believe. And his axe. Fuck, I don't remember what you're supposed to hit him with. Let's see if Boomerang works. It does not. Don't tell me you need the bow for this. Okay, we might actually need to use the bow here. Well, I think we gotta wait for him to throw his axe first, though. No, am I just dumb? I honestly never remember this phase that well, other than it's Ganon and it's a cool little Easter egg. Maybe spin attacks. He's in an awkward spot in the room as well. It's kind of a pain. There we go. Oh, we don't even gotta wait for him to throw the axe. With the level 2 sword, he should be going down pretty quickly. It still took a lot of hits, damn. Now he's in this phase where he just kind of floats around. Is this where we need the boomerang? Alright. I bet the magic rod could have worked well. Anyway, final phase. Final boss is almost over with. There's an interesting thing about this, and it's the fact that I believe you're supposed to, like, shoot arrows into his eyeball when he opens it, like that one mini-boss in Dungeon 5, but there's an Easter egg where if you throw the boomerang at him, it will kill him in one hit, except it's very finicky. As you can see, you can hit him dead in the eye with the boomerang half the time, and it just won't work. There we go. We did it. And, yeah, that was the final boss of Link's Awakening, and, yeah, it was not really that much of a challenge, just like most of this game is not hard. I would not say any part of this game is difficult at all, because, you know, it's a kid's game. Other than Dungeon 7 and 8 being a fucking pain in the ass to navigate. Oh, Warida. Yeah, that's it. We beat the game. I really like this ending sequence as well, by the way. It's very, very cool, and an awesome upgrade from the original. This looks so cool. Look at that. We didn't even need to use our medicine, either. I love the little music that plays here as well. It's awesome. My work is done. You didn't do shit, bro. Goodbye, owl. You will not be missed. Enter. The weird, like, I don't even know what you would call that noise the windfish makes is so cool sounding. I really like the different colored text box here. This whole sequence just looks great on Game Boy Color. The sprite for the windfish is so detailed too, it's awesome. Let us awaken together. Come, Link. Let us awakening. DX. Holy shit, title drop. There it goes. We did it, Reddit. And look at this. Link, even just for this final cutscene, Moth Space even gets a unique animation of spinning around. Isn't that funny? I think they reused that animation for the Oracle's games, although I have not played those much. And, well, yeah, we did it. There goes Koholint, and we're back in the real world. Except, if you don't remember the opening of this game, our ship, got destroyed in a storm, which means, Moth Space is still just kind of stranded out in the middle of the ocean on a plank of wood with no food and no protection from the elements, so, I mean, if you think about it, he's probably just gonna fucking die out here, right? I always thought he looked kind of goofy in this cutscene as well, by the way. Awesome. Great stuff. Great game. This has always been like a childhood favorite game of mine, and I think I said this all the way back at the beginning of the playthrough, but this is like, I've tried so many other Zelda games, and this is basically the only one that I give like a shit about at all. I'm gonna be brutally honest. This is the only Zelda game that ever really captured my attention, probably just because I played it at such a young age. Again, I think I said this before, but this and Pokemon Blue on Game Boy, like the Game Boy version of Link's Awakening and Pokemon Blue, were probably two of the first, like, real video games I ever played when I was a kid. And, like, I'm a Zoomy. I was born in, like, the early 2000s, at which point, like, the GBA was out already, even. So the fact that my first games were original Game Boy games, kind of funny. Yeah, that was Link's Awakening DX. Great game. Game holds a place near and dear to my heart. I love it. And it's always a fun time going back to this, especially just playing randomizers and that kind of thing. I will always enjoy this game. The type of game just once every couple years, I'm like, hey, you know what? I gotta like a couple hours to kill. Let's play some Link's Awakening. Good time. This flickering text looks a little crazy. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, it's really funny we were playing this alongside Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Darkness. That game also had really heavy themes of, like, you want to save the world and beat all the evil monsters. You gotta, like I was saying a few episodes ago, like, you have to sacrifice yourself in Explorers of Darkness, even if that, just gets undone at the end. And then, if you want to save Koholint in a weird way, you gotta sacrifice it entirely in this game to wake the windfish from his dream. And the whole thing about, like, the stuff involving Palkia later in Explorers of Darkness, with all the nightmares and, like, going into people's dreams and stuff, that also is kind of here in this game as well. about, like, going into the Windfish's dream and killing all the nightmares there. Funny parallels from two of my favorite games ever. Really interesting stuff, yeah. Again, this game is piss easy, I'm gonna be brutally honest. It's a game for kids. It is very easy. Although, admittedly, when I was playing this, I was, like, what, 11 when I first beat this game? I was playing it on, like, 3DS Virtual Console, and I definitely remember, like, being hard stuck on the final boss, and I don't remember why, when I had the red tunic, so I had to go all the way back to the color dungeon and get the blue tunic first. And then once I got that, then I was able to beat the final boss. And for the longest time, I would just play with the blue tunic because of that, but the red tunic is certainly stronger. Alright, that's the end, but there's an extra sequence here. Yes, this little scene here with Marin and the seagull only plays if you beat the entire game deathless, and as you can see, we did. And this game is very easy. I didn't have to, like, save scum or anything. It is, like I said, the only boss that you would realistically be dying against is the very first one if you get unlucky. But yeah, you get this sequence if you beat the game without dying at all, and there is a similar sequence that plays in the Game Boy version, but I honestly think it's better. It will have, like, the end text on a black screen, and then it will have, like, a sprite of Marin, but with wings, like, flying around on the side of the screen. I will show it here. And I honestly like that original version a lot more. The art they have of Marin here is nice, although it looks a little dopey with the eyes. But yeah, I guess it's just a nice little scene that implies, like, earlier in the game she mentions to you that she would like to be a seagull so she could fly all over, and they actually reflect that by, that's what the secret little ending sequence is they imply that in a way she lives on and gets to live her dreams. Pretty sweet. And of course you also get this extra message at the end of it in the Game Boy Color version for getting the secret ending. The development team would like to thank you for playing. And then the game just hangs on the screen. And I kind of never liked it when games did that, where, like, you don't, if you were to reload your save at this point, you would actually just go right back to before the Windfish egg. It does not save, like, a clear game file for you. And, yeah, there was, pretty much all we did this episode was just fight the boss instead of the ending, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. That's our third completed series. I guess technically our second, because Explorers of Darkness is still going to be going. And now I'm going to be honest, I don't actually know if this is going to come out before or after the stuff I was talking about with Palkia, with Explorers of Darkness. Probably after. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, that's another completed playthrough. One of my favorite games ever. I have more games I'd like to play for the channel eventually. Maybe I will take a break once I'm done with this and Explorers of Darkness, because it's got real life stuff going on, so I can't be recording all the time. It's getting harder and harder these days to find a good moment to record, but yeah, again, thank you so much everybody for watching. It was fun to replay this game. I hope you enjoyed the videos as much as I had making them. You could probably tell, to be totally honest, that there's a bit more effort put into the Explorers videos than this game's. No offense to this game, but I don't mind this being just a shorter little side thing. Shorter, kind of like how Harmony of Dissonance was kind of short. I don't mind that, especially since Explorers of Darkness is on track to be like 50 episodes plus by the time we're done with that. So yeah, just one last time, thank you so much everybody for watching. I had a fun time making these videos. I hope you had a good time watching them, and I will see you in whatever game I end up playing next to the channel. So have a good day, and see you then.